Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. Ladies and gentlemen, Bengaluru is a city of over 1.6 crore people, a cosmopolitan metropolis with residents from all over the country. It is the IT capital of the nation, where the biggest tech firms from all over the world have set up shop, powering India's story. The citizens of the city have to experience choked roads, deep potholes, floods during monsoons, and a crumbling urban infrastructure, a death trap that continues to claim lives. Today, a mother and her 2-year-old son were killed by this same death trap. A beam of an under-construction metro pillar collapsed in the Nagawada area, hitting a bike with a couple and their 2 small children. Tejaswini and her son Vihan sustained grievous injuries and died while receiving treatment at a nearby hospital. Her husband Lohit and daughter are still receiving treatment. The Bengaluru police has filed an FIR under multiple sections, including causing death by negligence and endangering life through negligence, as many eyewitnesses have revealed that the beams of the metro project were dangerously tilting for the last 3 to 4 days. The Bangalore Metro Rail Corporation has released a statement saying notices have been issued to the contractor and the concerned engineers, adding that an internal audit will also be conducted, calling the incident unfortunate. That is all that they did. The BMRC has said it will bear the cost of treatment and will provide 20 lakhs in compensation. In the run-up to the Karnataka elections, what all is the narrative that we hear from the ground? Reservations, love jihad, identity politics surrounding dress codes, textbooks and Tipu Sultan seem to be driving the political narrative. But what about the Aam Aadmi, the ordinary Bengalurians who has to live in the middle of this crumbling infrastructure, pay taxes and yet see the apathy day in, day out? Is the entire Neta class unable to make that their top agenda should be about the people's agenda, should be the citizens' agenda? Who is responsible for the deaths of Tejaswini and Vihan? When will heads roll, or will this just continue, and what is being seen as a criminal status quo? We are opening our phone lines, but first up, here's the story.
This is the moment when an under-construction metro pillar collapsed in Bengaluru, crushing 25-year-old Tejaswini and her 2.5-year-old son Vihan to death. Tejaswini was riding pillion while her husband was 40 feet long iron metro pillar crashed on them. Tejaswini and Vihan suffered grievous injuries and died in hospital, while the husband and daughter are still being treated.
ಇದು ಪಿಲ್ಲರ್ ಬಂದು 4-5 ದಿವಸದಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಯಾರು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸಿಬಿಲಿಟಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರ ಕೆಲಸ ಬೇರೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಬೆಳಗ್ಗೆ 10:05ಕ್ಕೆ ಇದು ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇವರು ತಾಯಿ ಮಗು ಮತ್ತು ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು.
The iron bars of the pillar had been fixed but were yet to be concretized. It was part of Namma Metro's operations to Kempegowda International Airport, which is set to be open to the public by the end of the year.
This kind of incident should not happen in the future. For that, whatever is the required additional measures which has to be taken, which the team will suggest, accordingly we'll work on that.
The tragedy in Bengaluru comes at a time when the Bombay government is being accused of cutting corners and hiring contractors who use low-quality raw materials.
ನನಗೆ ಈಗ ತಾನೇ commission what quality they can give.
This is not the first time that Bengaluru residents have died due to glaring civic apathy in the city. Killer potholes have claimed the lives of countless motorists, and the city's IT corridor sinks with even one spell of heavy rainfall. With no lessons learned, who will be held accountable for Bengaluru's civic mess?
Or will it be business as usual? Nobody will be held accountable and Bangaloreans will continue to suffer. Let me bring in all my guests and I'm opening the phone lines. and we have started getting the callers as well. But first, Srinivas, for 3 days, the beams were dangerously tilting. The commuters saw it. But today, it killed a mother.
Such a thing, and even the thought of money as a replacement for a lost future, and the little child is just heartrending to see these images of these family that's completely shaken and broken today. And the fact that for 3-4 days this thing has been tilted, and I'm hearing this for the first time now, is just unimaginable news for me, and it's just unpardonable for the people that are in charge of this particular project.
And
Safety is
the entire
not
thing
a
is
serious
about
issue in India.
negligence. You know, the case is about negligence. It is about criminal negligence, not amounting to murder. And that is what will make them all go scot-free. All those who are responsible for this negligence, be it the contractors or concerned engineers. We have the first two callers joining us, Leena from Bengaluru. Leena, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to talk. Firstly, it's just not about only the civic issues, but also, the streets and the sidewalks, basically the footpaths. The footpaths are a big mess. It's a tragedy, basically, what you see. What happens is when a person is walking on the street, in order to avoid the push carts, there are already people buying, eating. There's momo stalls, there's pani puri stalls. You don't know there is, there's so much of illegal acquirance of the footpath.
Yes.
Now, what we do is we try to avoid this and we go onto the road. The two-wheelers or the vehicles, they will lose control of, when they are moving. So this can cause a lot of accidents. Now, there is no civic body who is actually monitoring this. They're causing a lot of pollution. I mean, all the leftovers are there on the street. By cleaning it, you're encouraging the footpath or the push cart people to actually put their thelas.
Okay.
Secondly, you have no footpath left for the people to walk.
Yes, so this
Absolutely,
is what the story is. Leena, we have more callers joining us. Let's listen from Bengalurians. Sanjay Garg from Bengaluru is also with us. Mr. Garg, go ahead. Okay. Mohan from Bengaluru.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, please. Go ahead, Mohan.
Okay. See, I live in the electronic city area. So maybe there may be, more disasters waiting to happen unless we take a note of, pedestrian overbridges constructed, and these heavy steel structures are resting on these pillars, and somewhere based on my gut feel, I feel it is not properly balanced, or the pillars need to be looked at from a point of view of whether they are able to withstand that stress or load.
Okay.
So I had raised this with the traffic authorities and some of the.
And did you get any response?
No, I haven't. Today again, after this incident, I did.
Okay, we have another Bengalurian joining us, Srinivasan. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Srinivasan, loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Madam.
Yes.
This is a repeated act. They are just behaving as if they are autocrats and monarchs. After 5 years, they just suddenly become humble and request for a vote.
So nobody seems to be responsible for it, and perhaps the mother and the son who lost their lives, who will be held accountable? The answer would be that contractor may be responsible, but will heads roll? Unlikely. Lavanya Balal, the sad part of this entire story is what? That every month there is a pothole related death in Bengaluru. But what we are told by politicians is that Tipu Sultan becomes a talking point. That as far as issues that concern the politicians of the state is concerned is love jihad, or you don't understand, or you don't concern, or is the political class not concerned?
Good evening, Maria. Let me make it very clear. It is not the Congress which has been speaking about Tipu Sultan. It was the BJP party yesterday which was getting ready to release a book about Mr. Siddaramaiah, comparing him to Tipu Sultan, and it shows the priorities of the BJP party clearly. And Nalin Kumar Katil, the BJP chief and an MP, said we should be focusing on love jihad and not on issues like infrastructure of the state. Now, the question is, the state spends 30 crores every year, apparently, to fill the potholes of only Bengaluru. The question is, what happens to that 30 crores? Also, we have around 600 odd deaths that happen in Bengaluru every year. The city is turning very hostile for the pedestrians as well as for the motorists. Now, if it is a case of negligence, if and a pillow is leaning from the last 3 days, who is responsible for it? Also, why was the traffic allowed in that area when this structure was so shaky and it looked like it's going to crash? A governing body from the last 2.5 years.
No, but
they have been pushing it forward.
No,
and who do
but Sandeep, while I'm going to take that thought of Lavanya a little ahead with Sandeep now. Sandeep, just look at negligence, glaring negligence in this case. There was reinforcement bar bending since last 4 to 5 days, as I said. The ropes tied to structure loosened, yet not fixed. Not enough barricades around the construction site. There is inadequate scaffolding or safety net near the site, and beam was tilting due to weight and lack of support. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And, the taxpayers, this mother and son, are at the receiving end. Imagine a family is broken today for something which was so clear on our face. Will any of the senior politicians take the blame on themselves, or will they be talking about the contractors and the engineers?
Maria, I think the government is very clear where their priorities are. If you look at the BJP president's recent scandalous remark, he said, don't talk to the electorate about civic issues. Talk to them only about love jihad. It's very clear. Now, I don't want to let the Congress off the hook either. The Congress is obsessed with the Tipu Jayanti. If they come to power, they're only obsessed about Tipu Jayanti. They're pandering to minorities. There are a lot of other Muslims they can have a Jayanti about. There is Ghaffur Khan, who's considered the Karnataka's Gandhi. I mean, there are a lot of others. So what I'm saying is, neither of these parties or the JDU are interested in the city's governance. You rightly pointed out, our budget for BBMP alone is as big as many states.
That's right.
Now, that is a parastatal. It doesn't even come under BBMP. And there are about 10-15 parastatals in the city. And the city government, which is supposed to be the city government, BBMP, has no control over these. Now, about the lack of safety standards and professionalism as well as quality control, it is not unique to BMRCL. BMRCL has displayed its lack of these systems right now. But if you generally travel around Bangalore's roads, you will find craters, you will find dug up excavations, you will find ditches alongside populated areas. Anybody could fall into one of those. There is absolutely no standards followed.
Yes.
The Silicon Valley of India has
Yes.
no professionalism about public infrastructure work.
Yes.
Why is this happening? One, the BBMP has no control. Everybody thinks BBMP is in charge of the city. No, it is not. There are 15 money from the city.
Exactly.
This
Mr.
is what leads to the
Goda, your
corruption.
party president talks about everything and in fact goes on to say कि चुनाव में अगर बात करना है तो लव जिहाद की बात करिए, कन्वर्जन बिल की बात करिए, इसकी बात मत करिए. If you look at the NCRB data says that Bengaluru recorded the highest deaths among major cities in the country. 3,213 road accidents in the city led to 654 fatalities and left 2,280 people injured. Most of these cases are negligence of civic bodies. Mr. Goda, if you can hear me. You'll have to wait and listen to the question, sir. For the last 20 minutes, you have been constantly moving. Will you please listen to the question and answer? Mr. Goda, if you can hear me. The people of Bengaluru are joining me on the show and you don't have time and you're constantly moving around. I'll ask the producer to fix that line. But before that, let's listen in to some callers who have joined us. Pramod from Bengaluru. Go ahead, Pramod.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, the issue is basically, the government, we don't know, we are quite confused on what the government is focused on basically. The public need basic facilities, amenities like roads. And I'm a daily commuter of, it's about 4 it's a 4-lane road, but there is no lanes on the roads. There are no drainage systems being created for the properly. And we have seen a very pathetic situation in the last rain. What we have seen, many places are flooded and cars and many of the buildings were, inside the water. So the major concern is whether this party, this government or any government for that matter.
Mr. Goda, respond to this concern of a Bengalurian. Several of people who have called us are talking about apathy, that civic apathy which is evident. Will heads roll, or will it be about what your state president says, that the issues defining the elections which will happen in the state in the next few months should be about love jihad and others, not about civic issues? You don't have a report card.
Corridors in Bangalore, as well as suburban rails and other things. There are a lot of investment which is done in Bangalore city and trying to improve the city constantly. I agree, whatever has happened today is an incident which has to be criticized wholeheartedly by everybody. I agree. That's a separate part of it. Already, state government has said that 20 lakh compensation
is
will be
compensation
paid to
enough?
each of the
In the month of October, a 45-year-old man died after he was hit by a lorry while trying to avoid a pothole. There was a tragic incident which had taken place in another part of the same town, that is Bengaluru. A man was trying to avoid a pothole and then he got hit. Then on October 18th, a woman who was seriously injured following a road accident in Bengaluru, she could not make it. Then there is another incident of deaths due to potholes. Multiple such incidents. What will you tell them?
See, what
you'll be announcing compensation for them as well?
No, absolutely. That's the point. What you are trying to raise is why are there so many deaths? The point is very simple. We have taken up a task of building Bangalore, which was destroyed by the Congress regime for in the past 5 years. That is 2013 to 2018.
Building on corpses.
They destroyed it.
Building on dead bodies. Building on the death of a mother and her 2-year-old son. What are you talking?
Internet.
No.
It is not.
There are people who are asking questions. I have 20 seconds for you and then I'll open the phone lines because there are callers waiting to ask you questions.
No problem. Just listen to me. We are bound to develop the infrastructural facilities of Bangalore. At the same time, we are committed to the ideology what our party has been following, and both the things we will take it together.
Ramesh from Bengaluru, you heard the BJP representative on the show. I'm not going to blame a particular political party because I think both the parties are responsible here. But because it is the BJP which is in power, they have much to explain, and that is the reason why questions are being directed towards them. Ramesh from Bengaluru, please go ahead.
Maria, it's unfortunate that to be a Bangalorean is one of the worst one can have, because this city for the last 3 decades there has no. Now I have a request to you, Maria. Call the people responsible, like this death which has happened today. Call the BMRCL MD. Why he should not be behind the bar? Why the BBMP?
Absolutely, Mr. Ramesh. We certainly had hoped that the BBMC chief would join us. BBMP chief would join us. That hasn't happened. We always want to question the authorities, and they invariably say that they are not in position to respond, and that is the reason why politicians from both the parties come and defend them, because in many ways you see that there is that nexus that is evident. Kumar
for a name change, you can't do it without money. BBMP, you go for Kata name change, you can't do it with money. So everywhere there's money involved. And why can't it be like the income tax department? You file a document and you should not have to meet anybody. They have to raise their objections online. It doesn't happen. Bombay is far better.
Tara Krishnaswamy, you heard from a Bangalorean. The concerns are similar and huge disappointment certainly. And the corruption that we are talking about.
First time it's happening in Bangalore. It happened a couple of years back as well.
Yes.
And it's happened, metro-related deaths have happened in other cities as well. The question is, where are the criminal cases against those responsible? And I don't mean some low-level, subcontractor. Whether it is a Gujarat bridge collapse, after which there was nobody who took ownership for it and was really held accountable with a criminal case against them, hundreds of lives being lost. And the same here. Why is it that as an ordinary citizen, if I have something in my house that kind of falls off and even breaks a wall of a neighbor, there's going to be a case against me. Now, where is the criminal case against somebody who owns this project? Is it going to be, filed, or as usual, whether it's a custody death or a pothole death, at most there is a fine or a transfer. There is responsible that BMRCL is. BMRCL is owned by the union government and jointly with the state government. This is our grand double-engine sarkar. So who should we hold responsible? Either way, we can only hold the same.
Ashok Gowda will respond. Mr. Gowda.
Yeah.
See, BMRCL is a separate entity. What our panelist is saying, see, it's an SPV. Agreed. Whatever has happened, immediately state government has acted, the double engine sarkar has acted, and the concerns will be taken care of. If the safety measures were not practiced up to the standards, it will be definitely a concern which we will issue the notice to the BMRCL MD as well as the other people. But you cannot blame the government. There is a lot of things which...
What did you
No. One second.
Did you improve anything? There were construction workers themselves that died due to lack of safety. So what has changed when you say that we will take action? What action
there is
have
a
you
safety
taken
code.
To ensure that this doesn't
there
happen?
Is a safety,
if for 5 days it was unsafe, why was
there
it
is
allowed?
a safety.
Why wasn't
There is
the
a
road
safety
shut down?
code. There is a safety code 19001, which has to be practiced by all the authorities which are doing infrastructure works, and the particular contractor who is responsible should follow the procedures of safety according to documentation 19001. And if he has not followed, definitely the action has to be taken on him. And definitely our government double engine sarkar has taken it very seriously, and we are not going to spare anybody who is not following the procedures.
If you have taken it seriously, why are people dead? Why are innocent people dead if you've taken it seriously, sir?
Yes.
No.
That is what ordinary Bangaloreans like you and me walking on the road.
You want to listen to the father. You want to listen to a man who has just lost his wife and a 2-year-old son. The family which will never be the same again. And all you have to offer is empty words. No, these are empty words, Mr. Gowda. Sympathy will not fill in this gap, the huge gap that this family is now feeling. Let's listen in to the father, and then I'm going to go back to the guests.
I was supposed to drop them to this concerned place, and I was supposed to leave from there. But by the time within a fraction of a second, this incident happened. I was not able to get a control also. So as soon as I saw back, my wife and my kid, they were fallen, and nothing was there in my hand. Sir, अभी क्या बोल सकते हैं? मेरा तो सब कुछ खत्म हो गया. बस आगे ऐसा ना हो, दूसरों के लिए ऐसा ना हो. वो सभी सेफ्टी प्रिकॉशंस वो सभी ये करके करे बस.
मेरा तो सब कुछ ही खत्म हो गया. मिस्टर गौड़ा, किसी को तो जवाब देना होगा ना.
Immediately our state government has acted. Our sympathies are there with him. Agreed that our government, the safety and the standard manuals has been issued to the contractors, and we are doing all our best.
Okay, tell me, sir.
Since
the point being made by Tara here, how many contractors have been booked for criminal conspiracy and negligence, and what is death amounting to murder in the last 2 years for all the potholes related deaths? Give me a number, sir. That exactly
Not
is the
only
answer.
potholes, Maria, flooding also, people were...
How many people
dead
have
because
been
of
booked?
apathy.
How many engineers, how many contractors have been booked? Isn't this evident that there is rampant corruption and politicians are hand in glove with them? We have the last caller joining us. In fact, that caller having questions, the politicians seems to have no answer at all. Shifting focus now to debate 2, there is no end to the tussle between the ruling DMK in Tamil Nadu and Governor R. Ravi. On Monday, the governor sparked a firestorm by making changes to the speech prepared by the cabinet, which he read out in the assembly. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, in the presence of the governor, went ahead and proposed a resolution against him, urging the speaker to relax Rule 17 and retain the speech prepared by the state government as part of the governor's customary address. This prompted the governor to stage a walkout amidst protests by the DMK and its allies. Today, the governor sent out Pongal invites with Tamilgam in place of Tamil Nadu. Remember, the governor said that the ancient name of Tamil Nadu is more appropriate as the name Tamil Nadu or Tamil country evokes sentiments of Tamil separatism. The DMK called the governor's speech an insult to Dravidian sentiments. Meanwhile, posters against the governor saying "Get out Ravi" have been put up in many parts of Chennai, a clear message to R. Ravi from the DMK camp, which has accused him of sitting on bills, misusing his office to politically attack the state government and stoking anti-Dravidian sentiments. This fight has erupted amidst simmering tensions between governors and governments in Kerala and Telangana as well. In Kerala, the State Assembly has passed a bill to remove Governor Arif Mohammed Khan as the Chancellor of State Universities when he questioned the selection process for Vice Chancellors, while in Telangana, Governor Soundararajan has accused the state government of breaching protocols and targeting her office for doing her job. The charges have been flying thick and fast from both the sides, but the question remains, who is crossing the line?
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம்.
There is a difference between the central government and the state government. You are there to stand by the central.
இந்தியாவிலே நம்பர் 1 முதலமைச்சர் என்றால் நம்முடைய தலைவர் அவர்கள்தான். அவருக்கு நீங்கள் எல்லாம் இளைஞர்கள் எல்லாம் நீங்கள் துணை நிற்க வேண்டும், உங்களுடைய ஆதரவை கொடுக்க வேண்டும் என்று கேட்டுக்கொண்டு.
Don't you think this disagreement which is going on between the government and the governor, and as you said since November 2019, will affect the governance in Kerala?
Their idea of governor is that whatever they say, governor should sign it. So my idea of this office is, I have taken oath to protect, preserve and defend the constitution.
This is the basic culture, basic need of a governor to expect this type of activities are carried out by the government. Repeatedly I am asking, definitely they should have had an order from the higher office not to welcome the governor. What type of respect they have for the constitutional office? But they are acting like a dictator.
Let me bring in all the guests now. Kovai Satyan is AIADMK spokesperson of EPS faction. Manu Sundaram, DMK spokesperson. S. Muralidharan is a political analyst. We also have Sumansi Raman joining us. And Karthi Chidambaram, Member of Parliament of the Congress Party from Shivaganga, is also joining us. Before I bring in all the guests, let me get a word from Karthi Chidambaram, who's joining us first. Karthi, you know, what we saw yesterday perhaps showcased clearly that this is a path of no return, that the governor and the state government, of which you are a part, they are on complete collision course. Do you think the situation is irreversible, or can there be a meeting between two sides?
Democratic norms and to also respect the
sensitivities and the political sensitivities of Tamil Nadu. If the central government, decides to goad him further, I mean, as you have said, we've probably reached the point of no return. But this governor, by himself, in his wisdom, I can't see him reversing his maximalist position, as you have said. But it's really up to the central government now.
Okay. Then in that case, one view certainly is that this is the governor who's not indulging in any kind of Hindi push, or he's very much keeping in mind the sentiments of Tamil when he talks about Tamilgam rather than Tamil Nadu.
No, not at all. When did he become the custodian of Tamil sentiment? When did he become the custodian of Tamil sentiment? Where has ever been a move within Tamil Nadu from any quarter? Please, refresh me. Whether there has been a move where said that Tamil Nadu has to be renamed as Tamilagam. Where has that been? Where is there been a social movement? Has there been any other person who has said this? I mean, this man he's not any repository of Tamil history, culture. In fact, he's completely against Tamil history and Tamil culture. That Tamil Nadu must be renamed. Where is it coming from? Okay. Is there any other person who's made this demand? Who's a resident and a citizen of Tamil Nadu? No, it's not come from anybody. This man is a agent provocator.
Okay, Suman C. Raman, if there is no such demand that is there, then why is this even a subject of discussion about a rename?
No, I think clearly, I mean, I should not want to say this, but unfortunately, I think that there is a clear aim to provoke the state government. And I think that has been consistently happening. I mean, what he says in his private, in the meetings that he attends,
yes,
outside the assembly is a totally different issue. But within the assembly yesterday, his role was very, very clearly defined. He was to read out a speech by the state government on its report card on whatever it wishes to highlight. And though it is called the governor's address, it is the address of the state government read out by the governor, full stop, as the technical head of the state.
Yes.
So I think that there has been a consistent attempt to provoke, especially in the last 5-6 months. More importantly, 15 bills.
Yes.
15 bills passed by the state legislature. Some of them 8 months, 10 months ago are still pending with no decision having been.
Okay, so then in that case, Mr. Muralidharan, before I bring in the politicians, I want to understand the sentiment of the people of Tamil Nadu through both the analysts. The role of the governor is certainly now under the scanner. Ravi has become the first Tamil Nadu governor to skip portions of text which has been prepared by the state government. In Kerala, it has happened in 1969. In other states also it has happened. But in Tamil...
Yes. It happened in Tamil Nadu also when Chenna Reddy was the governor, the late Chenna Reddy, when he was and Ms. Jayalalitha was the chief minister.
Yes, but staging a walkout of this nature, who is provoking whom? What is the sentiment, Mr. Muralidharan, on ground?
See, I see it as completely political, as there's no two ways about it. First thing is, yes, there are certain grievances against the governor. He's not pushing the bills as fast as he should. Because of that, in fact, the Pera Rivalan and the Nalini's release happened, whatever, when they went to Supreme Court. Now, for each and every bill they can't go, that's understandable. But is this the way to treat a governor? You invite him to deliver a speech. You instigate all your fringe party allies to go and heckle him. And he is speaking in Tamil. Bihari come all the way to Tamil Nadu, learn Tamil, and he is delivering his speech in Tamil. You should be feeling happy about it, but you are not. You heckle him. You make him, he's already warned you that he's not comfortable with certain portion of this text, which he wanted amended, which you promised, saying that yes, when you're delivering the speech, you can. Now it's gone for publishing. We can't do anything. So, which means you agreed that, he can change whatever he wants, but you expected this,
Mr.
and you passed a resolution in 8 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Manu Sundaram, so it's essentially the DMK which unleashed its fringe against the government.
The issue is essentially one of federalism and one of the role of the governor.
Yes.
Whether he omitted certain portions, whether he suggested change to the name of the state, I think are secondary issues. What Governor Ravi has done, and he has done pretty much what has been happening across various states, especially non-BJP governed states is that they are there to stir up the pot. They are there to muddy the waters. Now, this is happening in Kerala. It has happened in other parts in Maharashtra when a non-BJP government was in place. So the question is essentially one of federalism. And secondly, the question is also of whether governors should have a certain discretionary role or not. And it is unequivocal that the constitutional scheme has been set up in a manner that the governors do not have any discretion. Now, whether he does something or not, only the central government and the president, under whose warrant he has been appointed, they can take cognizance of. But I do agree with what Mr. Karthi Chidambaram, Member of Parliament, has said. There seems to be a strategy to not only provoke but also deviate from some of the issues that the DMK has raised against the BJP in Tamil Nadu, and some of the issues that have actually been problematic with this governor, which Dr. Sumant Raman touched on, which is that more than 15 bills have been pending with the governor. So these are the issues which he's trying to distract us from. Of course,
yes, Mr. Muralidharan will respond to that. But in the state of Tamil Nadu, and it is not new to this kind of, tussle between the governments. We are seeing that open fight between the governor and governments in non-BJP ruled states. That is the reason why, Mr. Muralidharan, the point being made here is about the larger role. That is the governor being used to serve the agenda. That is the charge that is coming from the DMK, similar to what the Kerala government is saying, similar to what the TMC says, and similar to what Mr. KCR is saying.
How do we handle it? How do we handle it? You confront them and you antagonize and make it more dirty, or will you try to cajole them and get your things done? If Mr. Kalanjay Karunanidhi would have been alive, I'm telling you, this will not happen like this. He would be in, hugging with each other, with the BJP and getting things done. That's what politicians are for. They have to have that knack to cajole people and get their things done.
Satyan, who has taken a maximalist position here? Is it the chief minister who's not able to handle a governor and his temperaments?
Absolutely.
Or is it?
Absolutely.
Okay, no,
absolutely.
Okay,
Mr. Stalin's immaturity is coming out here.
Okay, Kovai Satyan.
Absolutely.
Kovai Satyan, let him respond. Yes.
Mr. Stalin wanted to enact a movie showing him as a hero figure. But what happened of the couple of series of events and U-turns, the movie miserably failed. At one side, they instigate the parent body, Dravida Kalagam, to hold agitations across the state, and they instigate students to protest. On the other side, he calls his MLAs and pleads to them not to raise their voice against the governor in the assembly or in the open forum. And this is what we call it as double standards. Now they want to silently put the issue under the carpet on who flouted the norms because they got a shot in their arm. When a chief minister brings a resolution suo moto without the assent of the assembly speaker, and having known that he had flouted norms willingly to enact a political drama and set a narrative to suit their political agenda, when they miserably failed to paint a saffron picture.
No, but in which side of the debate are you on right now, particularly the renaming debate? That here is the governor who sends, formal invites saying that it is Tamilgam, not Tamil Nadu. So how can he just change the name without, officially it being changed?
Let me point out, because you need to point out the facts for your viewers to understand. Because here facts are being twisted according to the convenience, and DMK are the masters of it. And governor has never said immediately you have to change the name to Tamilgam from Tamil Nadu. He said the name Tamilgam will give more credibility to unity and sovereignty, because DMK all the while are playing divisive politics in the name of calling the central government as union government, and they want to instigate people driving their divisive politics and agenda. And it's a direct hit to them, saying that, there were occasions wherein DMK themselves has called Tamilagam Mudalvar, Tamil Nadu Mudalvar. They have used this term here and there.
Okay. So you are standing with the governor on this particular
he espouses a particular ideology is not the subject matter of our interest or debate. What he does in his capacity as governor when he's being sworn in on presidential warrant by the Chief Justice of the Madras High Court. That is what we are worried about, what he does while he occupies a position in Raj Bhavan. So let me be very clear. When he speaks in assembly, he's not speaking in a private capacity. It's not a private lecture or a sermon. He is speaking only to initiate a discussion on behalf of the government. Now, second point is, this is a larger issue around federalism, and I thank you, Maria, for acknowledging that this is not only related to Tamil Nadu or DMK, but there is a larger issue around other non-BJP states across the country as well. And thirdly, I see this only as an outpouring of BJP's frustration. They are ultimately, I'm not mocking them, but they've only gotten 3 to 4% of the vote at best in most elections in the last 15 years. So therefore, they are trying to do other ways.
Or should it be seen as an over-enthusiastic governor who's asserting himself, Suman C. Raman?
No,
Why should it be seen as him being representative? Of course, the governor enjoys the Raj Bhavan position only till the time he has, he enjoys the support of the President of India. And of course, President of India acts on the advice of the central government. We understand all
and acts like that. I think definitely there is definitely an attempt to sort of put roadblocks in front of the state government. The second point is, I think the AIADMK, is in a bit of a bind. They're sort of on the fence because the governor has been very critical about the Dravidian model and so on. And technically, they are a Dravidian party. They've ruled the state more than the DMK have, in the last 50 years. So it's very difficult for them to distance themselves from when the Dravidian model is being attacked. So the point is, the virtually every political party in the state, with the exception of the BJP.
No, then in that case, who is really the custodian of the Dravidian sentiment? He says that he is being.
DMK is nothing but a model, wherein the king, a prince, and followed by the sons and grandsons. That's how it goes. Then there is no democracy in it. But as far as AIADMK Dravidian model is concerned, it's all about people welfare and the measures taken towards that. He understands it. So we have no qualms when he refuses to endorse Dravidian model of DMK. Because that's not a Dravidian model, that's a dynasty model. And why should we jump the ship when he has made no reference to us? When he wants to talk about the development of Tamil Nadu, we are willing to go for a debate with him and say that with respect to development, having withdrawn all public welfare measures and increase all forms of taxes, and given the surmounting sufferings to common men every day, you cannot call it as a Dravidian model. That's a fake model. That's a dynasty model for one family.
Okay, I have just enough time. Yes.
So, Governor left out in his speech references to Periyar, Baba Saheb Ambedkar, Anna, Kalaignar, and so on. And while leaving out the references to Kalaignar may not affect the AIADMK, definitely they do have a problem with the fact that the other three leaders are very much part of their pantheon of leaders whom they hold.
These which are ruled by parties which are not the BJP. Is there a possibility that these chief ministers will perhaps unite and then petition the president demanding the recall?
I absolutely think there is a strong and compelling case to be made. The Supreme Court, even as recently as in 2022, said governors are only shorthand for government. But of course, we see governors exercising far greater sort of extra constitutional authority than the constitutional scheme allows them to. And I would be very, very surprised if all the governments of non-BJP and especially the regional parties come together. And of course, Mr. Karthi Chidambaram has also spoken. So even the Congress parties governments come together and actually not only petition for recall of some governors, but actually ask whether the position of governor itself is required in our constitutional scheme.
When you were in UPA, similar questions were raised by the BJP. Thank you so much for your time, Manu Sundaram, Mr. Muralidhar, and Suman C. Raman, and Kovai Satyan. We are putting out that story on news18.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow.
See, deniers never reform. they will never, and it's not important to turn them into accepting the truth of Kashmir files. So it's a film like that. And yeah, I think it's today, let's sort of take the first step has been taken. This to read. I'm a member of Academy. That in itself, I feel that it's a great thing to happen. But there's a process that goes into it. I'm sure Vivek, when he is shooting right now for the vaccine, them goes into the final nominations. I'll be equally happy because it is the triumph for Indian cinema.
Triumph of Indian cinema. Anupamji, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on CNN News 18. Thank you so much for taking our time.
India's #1 news choice, unparalleled news supremacy for 37 successive weeks. CNN News 18, on your side.
Well, it's a great feeling. I think we are far away from nomination and other process, but I think the first step has taken place and we need to celebrate the first step. It's a humbling feeling, and especially the Kashmir Files has been a film which is not fiction. It's a film based on true story, true events, on genocide of Kashmiri Hindus, and for 32 years this story has been kept under wraps, and finally, or you can't keep under wraps a truth which is there. They are not important in the scheme of things. There are people who are criticizers and there are people who are doers. So there are people like him who will criticize anything, and people like us who will make our film and put our hard work over there, and it's a tragedy of people. So people should have not only that person, but there are a lot of people in our country. Chief Minister, sitting Chief Minister has called it that it should be shown on YouTube, the other people, but they are not important because our